Hey everybody, we're live. How you doing? And it is my sincere pleasure to present my friend, former Oakland Councilmember, District 6, Loren Taylor, former Oakland mayoral candidate twice. And he's been through a lot. It's great to just be able to have him on and talk about Oakland from his perspective and as they say, chop it up. Sir, welcome. How you doing? It's an honor.
Hey there. Absolutely. No, thanks, Zennie. Great to be back on the show. Good to see you. Hope all is well out your way.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, so from your perspective, first of all, catch everybody up on the election, because I remember my thought was you're going to barely win, and it didn't happen. But what have you been up to since then? I've followed you here and there, but what's been the Loren Taylor path since then?
Yeah, well, thanks for asking that. When you say the election, I assume you're talking about the most recent election, the special election.
Yes.
For
replacing.
Well, no. Just two mayoral elections, right? The one versus Chang Tao, and then the replacement once she was, indicted and then recalled. But so the whole reason that I guess jumped into politics back in 2018 when I ran for city council is because, knowing that we aren't getting what we need and what we deserve out of local government in terms of there's a lot of talk, a lot of sort of movement, a lot of activity, a lot of resources being put in, but we're not actually getting the outcomes on quality of life overall, sort of reaching that potential of Oakland. And so feeling that that's something that I can bring capabilities, experiences, talent to bear on. And so that's why I ran. That's why I joined the council. That's what I've been continuing to focus on, is having that impact in day-to-day people's lives, even if it's not inside of City Hall, doing it from outside of City Hall. So as you and others know, bringing the knowledge that I have about just how politics, government, everything else works and doesn't work, really bringing that education and then activation as a founder of Empower Oakland, which has now sort of spread and taken on its own sort of direction, but still with the same sort of vision and goals of educating, activating, Oakland residents on how to better improve their lives through civic engagement. And most recently, I have jumped in as the interim CEO of the Black Action Alliance, an organization. And that's an organization that is focused on making sure that the voice of the Black community is elevated in a way that drives political outcomes that improves basically our trajectory, right? Too often we are shouting on Twitter or Instagram or some other way. And as you know, as well as so many others, that may feel good for the moment, but it actually doesn't change the system. And so what are the things that change the system? How do we drive that? And one of the most recent things I did as CEO of the Black Action Alliance is we hosted a gubernatorial debate where the 7 of the leading candidates for governor had a platform where they could engage each other and engage the viewing public, and we were able to broadcast it across the state. So more than into the largest 2 markets of California, live broadcast. So that's more than 8 million households that those markets represent. And seeing that, especially in a low information, a very sort of full field election, like we need to have platforms that really dig into the issues that matter most and allow you to differentiate between the candidates so that we can get to the primary and have the best folks push forward.
Wait, it just occurred to me, when you do something like that, are you next considering going in the area of being a pundit yourself? Because you got Brian Tyler Cole. I don't do the political punditry stuff as much as I do. I was thinking about going back into it, but emotion, there's a lot of emotion that goes with that I'm just not, I haven't adjusted myself to, unlike the past. But there are a lot of people doing interesting. There's Tara Palmieri. She's got her platform, these platforms, but it sounds like you're basing yourself to what could be that kind of platform. Have you thought about that?
Well, you can't help but think about it when people are coming to me regularly. Loren, what's going on? Loren, how do I better understand this? What's actually happening, et cetera? I don't want to just hold that knowledge within me, but actually share with others and people. There's a demand out there. So the question is how to get that out, the best platform. Obviously, appreciate you hosting me on the show to kind of engage and share some insights and perspectives with your audience. And similarly, doing that. But yeah, potentially hosting my own platform. In fact, my wife Erica and I were just talking about whether or not we should do a podcast. Kind of bringing the our two perspectives, living in different worlds, but that intersect.
R2 like R2D2 like artificial intelligence. I'm joking, but I couldn't resist, man. It's kind of sticking out.
There you go. There you go. We've got there's a lot of I think there's so much information out there and so much like shock and awe. You see that coming from DC. You see just all of that and being able to digest it and regurgitate it in a way that people can digest so that they can make sense of it without investing, a full-time job just to understand what's going on in the civic realm.
Hey, let's get down to the nitty gritty now. What do you think of Oakland and where it's at right now?
Look, Oakland is, I will say, I am pleased that we are seeing some positives, right? When you look at the crime rate that's being reduced, like that is, positive. That's great. You see some of the other sort of shifts that are happening. Glad we've got professionalism back, right? We don't have corruption or people that, we are questioning whether they're actually caring about the city versus just taking advantage of the position. That's huge that we've moved to that level, but it doesn't address the root causes and the needs, right? When you look at the crime rate that we're experiencing, you've got to also understand that we are simply seeing the same trends as other cities in terms of the reductions. It's not that we're doing something that's unique here in Oakland. It's kind of a broader trend that's happening. We also know that a lot of the resources that have gone towards addressing crime, public safety, et cetera, are coming from the state, the CHP surge, the other investments that are coming from outside, not us solving the problems on our own. And that's great that we can lean on these other resources, but we've got to build the internal stability so that we can actually maintain these changes over the long term, those structural changes, as opposed to simply sort of riding the general wave that every other city, everyone else is riding, because we know when things go wrong, they impact Oakland and our community that much more deeply. It takes us much longer to get out of these challenges, like you see with COVID and others, right? Other cities were back at, and then it takes us 2 more years on top of that. And we're still blaming some things on COVID now, 6 years after, right? And so we've got to, I think that's what Oakland needs to focus on next, is how we put the infrastructure undergirding who we are and our foundation so that we can maintain and even do better, as opposed to simply sort of riding on, I will say, the general trends that have been fortunate.
Hey, Loren, you mentioned the COVID issue. And for me, the reason why we're still dealing with COVID issue, and I want your response to this, obviously, is we haven't spent money to help businesses recover from the pandemic. So you have give an example. There's my favorite legislation, AB 464 Muller, written by Simeon Mullen, of course. But I have a video on here from the person that had really pushed it through to get it passed. And what it does is it allows the use of tax increment financing money so that it can be go to businesses that needed investment because they were suffering from the pandemic. Now, Oakland never used that legislation, even though it was passed, if memory serves, January 21st of 2021. And yet, Barbara Bobby Lopez, who you may know, she worked at one point for Rebecca Kaplan.
Yep.
She's the person that really fashioned the legislation and really marshaled it through. And I was, cheering her on all the way. Yet we haven't used it. And we have the situation where the alley ran by my friend Jackie Sipkins, who I just saw last weekend, is in a situation where her property value has decreased by $1 million, such that she can't get a loan to deal with her other expenses, and she's in danger of closing down the alley.
Yep.
That what I'm saying is that the reason why, in my opinion, we're in this situation, still talking about the pandemic, is because we never did anything to help businesses during it. I remember telling Libby, I said, you know what? You need to do something now, Ms. Mayor. This was back in 2020.
When she was in office, yeah.
Yeah. And instead, she had this task force that the owners of Lucas sat on. And while they're sitting on the task force, they're building literally, business literally deteriorating. And they're not getting any help whatsoever. And they were talking about it. Maria Andretti was talking about it, right? And I'm like, I said, Libby, you can't do these meetings. You actually have to, go and spend some money. We didn't do anything. Anyway.
Yeah. It's not just about money, but yes, spending the money, absolutely key. Providing other support and resources as well, in terms of just making it easier to get stuff done within City Hall. Really addressing those barriers that are causing people to go out of business and not be able to survive. We see businesses still continuing to leave. We just saw the athletic club, announce that they're shutting down. We've got others that are continuing to leave, and a lot of it is because Oakland is not business friendly and not supportive. So you're absolutely right. You always focus on tax increment financing, and absolutely we should be doing more to take advantage of that and other innovative solutions to bring capital to support Oakland businesses, right? We also need to address the fact that, with the money that we spend, $1.8 billion in our in our budget that we are spending each year, a lot of that goes towards suppliers, whether it's contractors, vendors, others. And we just, the council that's in place, they just approved that they're no longer going to have a headquarter requirement for local business program participation. Yeah. So as long as, you can have your headquarters somewhere else, as long as you have a certain amount of activity in Oakland. And that takes away from headquarter companies that are here, anchored here, and really have that footprint. There's a benefit, and we've watered that down. I wasn't on the council at the time, but yeah, exactly. What's motivating it? Certain people are lobbying because they have a headquarters in San Francisco, or they have a headquarters somewhere else, and they're getting these votes that no longer have us investing as much as we could in Oakland businesses. So you're absolutely right. Economic development is a huge one for me, and really supporting local businesses. And that is a frustration that we're not doing more.
I mentioned tax increment financing is because prior to 2011, we used it. And it was my background coming in the Cal to learn it. That goes all the way back to September 16th of 1985. Mm-hmm. When I graduated, 87, when I graduated from Cal grad school and went into Berkeley that fall. He went into city of Oakland that fall. Yeah. And but you have to understand that about roughly 60% of the flatlands was redevelopment project area. Mm-hmm. And we used it, like Henry Gardner will tell you, we used to do everything from, in some cases, street cleaning to removing crack houses in East Oakland. And then Jerry Brown was saying later, told someone, I'm not going to mention who he told it to, well, we were using redevelopment and we were paying all these union stuff. Okay. But you know what? That was keeping us from having massive deficits. Okay. Now we don't do it. And what do we have?
The thing is, we have to have people who are leading our city that understand net present value, and that you've got to look longer term into the future to be able to understand what the additive revenues are going to be from an investment today. Mm-hmm. If you have people that are only making decisions based on a 1 year or a 2 year balance, then they're never going to do those things that require the heavier investment now, but have the much greater payoff and benefit in the long term, and steady revenues that come from it as well. And so that is a huge frustration. And as you know, we've had sort of some detailed disagreements relative to whether or not it was needed. But when I was on the council, I went and I went to Sacramento to help lobby and change the legislation that was around Howard Terminal, because initially it was designed to specifically only allow for the tax increment, like a special sort of benefit district, tax increment financing type of district for Howard Terminal. And I made sure that the language expanded across the entire city.
But
and so that absolutely is something that we need to make sure is applicable.
Since you mentioned that, I got to
say that again. Sorry, I missed it.
I said, since you mentioned tax increment financing and our little disagreement, I got to update you on that, my friend. When you were saying that Century Urban group, okay, and I said they were doing the calculations wrong in 2021. Well, guess what they did? And I discovered it April of 2023. They turned around and slipped in a whole new draft enhanced infrastructure financing district report and recalculated correctly the tax increment so that the total revenue they expected was $5 billion. And guess what? They used a very incorrect and modest 2% increase in assessed value. I used 4%. So really, they robbed us of $4 billion. Century Urban did. But my point is, they did
on paper.
On paper. But I'm saying they went back and did it the way they were supposed to do it. When I was saying to you, they're doing it the wrong way. Yeah. So when a brother says to you, "Hey man, do it the wrong way," and they speed all this technical stuff, believe him.
There you go. They should have given you a little bonus there, finder's fee on that problem.
I'll take the verbal props, but the whole point is, all that aside, the sad part about it is that we lost out on doing it. We used to do it the right way.
Yeah.
Now we lost on all that, and Las Vegas has it. And former council member, what bothers me is unlike the past. We have done nothing. We have no proposal to get Major League Sports back here. All right, and I'm not trying to insult the ballers or anybody else, but they are not the NFL, the NBA, or the WNBA for that matter. We got sandbagged on that too. You see them getting that? We're not.
Yeah, winning. No, there's a different level of equity, a different level of cash flow. You're at a different sort of stratosphere, and so I'm a huge fan of the Roots and the Ballers and all of the local teams that are performing at that level. And we can't pretend that it is replacing the scale of a World Series or a Super Bowl or an All-Star weekend, right? That's the reality.
Here's another one, former councilman. We did this watch party for the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it drew 200.
You're talking about the city of Oakland? Yeah.
Yeah. At Henry J. Kaiser Convention Center. Yeah. Which, by the way, I worked at. Largest Star Trek convention on the West Coast. I think the first one. I worked at.
Got you.
Oh, that was huge, man. Anyway,
so you are a Trekkie.
A Trekker.
Okay. There you go.
No, it was huge, man. Dude, I just momentary aside. Everybody, it was 10,000, 12,000 people with overage, and in 75. My friends Bill and Lars and Craig, Worthy Willie, all Skylanders. We're having our reunion coming up. And I'm glad to see it's reopened now, But my point is, regarding the watch party, I advocated against it because I said, hey, look, on Super Bowl, you're going to take viewers that were going to restaurants and then send it to a watch party. And so what happens, the Athletic dies and closes, which is one of those businesses that needed to be advertised and promoted during Super Bowl week. And we could have done that instead of the watch party. That's what bothers me.
It definitely, you have a great point. And it definitely depends on what your goal is, right? If your goal is to just have a free party that people are hanging out and good vibes, that's different than if your goal is to actually improve the economic trajectory of our city and benefit, right? And so what you're talking about is like coming from the lens of like, if our goal should be that we optimize value and impact on Oakland versus just we get a headline that we can put our brand and our name and our logo on, right? If there are other ways to do that. And that's part of, I think, the being innovative, but goal-oriented at the same time. I think absolutely appropriate to ask, what's the economic benefit of us having a watch party that's just like an outdoor festival at the Henry J versus directing to all of the other venues that you could go to support the small businesses, to support the caterers or the others, and a broader swath of folks.
Yeah, and then on top of that, they were threatening ICE. The president was threatening to send ICE not just to the Super Bowl, but to other venues, including Oakland.
Oh, I hadn't heard that. But
yeah, I warned the league. Brian McCarthy, who's the NFL spokesperson, told me they brought it up in a meeting and told the Bay Area Host Committee, who, from what I gathered, didn't like the fact that I was putting that out there. But the president was putting it out there, right?
Yeah. No, absolutely, and that's always a consideration as well. But we also can't let that deter us from doing those things that we know are right and in the best interest of our community.
So I got to ask you the question, okay?
All right.
Why not make another run? I mean, look, I thought you were going to win the last time. You didn't. Yeah, I think Barbara Lee, I love Barbara. It's not personal toward Barbara. And that was the problem. It's like Barbara represents the older traditions that have really helped shape Oakland. And there's a lot of nostalgia there. I get that.
Yep.
My mom knows Barbara Lee, so it's hard for me. It was hard for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the other hand, you represent government nuts and bolts, getting it done, pulling the right levers, the things that we need now to take action. Because to me, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it just seemed like our good mayor now has been about parties that are about her agenda, her for herself, and she either the watch party or this fundraiser party or anything else, or going around. And I just don't get the sense, and I'm going to be careful what I say, but because I want to, I get somebody in trouble. But I just get the sense that there's not this focus on actually pulling the levers to fix the city, but it's more like, hey, look what I did politically to make sure that you vote for me again. What do you think? I mean, I'm happy to be wrong if you think I'm wrong. Did you, Loren? Yeah, you want me to repeat that?
Yeah. It was cutting out a little bit, but I think I got that. Yeah, can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. I can repeat.
All right, awesome. Yeah, so I got the gist of what you were saying. And have to always begin with my deep respect for our mayor, former Congresswoman, and appreciation for what she has contributed to getting us where we are. And as I said on the campaign trail when I was running a year ago, we've got to get beyond just the personality if it's people we like and care about Oakland, right? We've got to get to what's actually needed in order to lead our city forward and get through and solve these tough problems so that they don't keep coming back year after year after year. And we're wondering, well, why haven't we made progress? What hasn't been done? And to what you just said, it has to do with measuring progress, accountability for actual change, and sustained change, and not just the social media likes, the headlines, the press releases that have a positive vibes but aren't necessarily changing the core underlying issues of our city. And so I as I said earlier, I think Oakland we've moved much more positively than when we were under the Sheng Tao administration, and I'm grateful for that. I think that there are a number of things that are going well for the city that I'll say under Mayor Lee's leadership. So grateful for that. I just don't have confidence that it's addressing core root issues in a way that's sustainable. We're still relying on one-time funding in order to bridge a gap. We have a council that approved $40 million in taxes in a 2-year budget with money that doesn't even exist. Hadn't even been contemplated what the mechanism is to even bring to the ballot, let alone get a positive ballot vote, right? We are still extending over 2 years a fiscal state of emergency that allows the council to do an end run over the will of the voters. We voted on property tax and other tax measures that have specific things that are supposed to be paid for. And the council basically says, because we couldn't get our math right and manage the money appropriately and make decisions on how we balance it, we're going to declare a fiscal emergency that just allows us to forget whatever the voters intended for those dollars to go through. And now they're going to come back and say, oh, just give us more money, 40 million more dollars, so that we can continue to do an end run around what the will of the voters is. Like that is a core problem that I have, is like, we've got to establish a trust of stewardship and how we manage the resources before we go back to the well and say, hey, give us more money, give us more money.
Fundamentally. And to add to what you're saying, on top of all that, businesses are still closing, which means the tax base is shrinking. And you have to say, like, Oakland Port does a great job of ferreting out it, but even the Oakland Port seems to disconnect the fact that, hey, you know what, we're not growing the economy. And the Oakland Airport, for example, and this is directly because I assert of a loss of our sports teams, like your feedback on this. Oakland Airport lost 1/3 of its passenger volume between 2022 and now, and have done nothing, right? I kept saying, hey, look, Terminal 1, build a convention center there so the digital nomads can meet and all these, everything. They've done nothing. And not only that, do you realize that the port can do its own redevelopment program?
Oh, yeah, they absolutely could. They absolutely could. They've got a lot of land that is not being used, being underused. They're not even managing, to be honest, they're not even managing the existing parcels and properties that could be leased out for higher benefit uses. So you look at the Waterfront Hotel, you look at other things, like really staying on top of those. Huge opportunity loss, right? And then you mentioned that the port hasn't been doing anything, the airport hasn't been doing anything. Well, they did one thing. They tried to distance themselves from Oakland as opposed to improving what's going on. They tried to say, we're no longer going to be, we're going to be the San Francisco Bay airport. And finally, and then they add Oakland after like 5 words in the title that get Trump. And then they finally land on, at least we're going to start with Oakland and then do San Francisco afterwards. But it's that whole thing. Like, we got to address the root causes and not just rebrand and try and put lipstick on a pig, right? Like, actually solve these issues that exist here in the city.
And Loren, you know what's so tragically funny about that is the amount of legal money we spent doing that and pouring it down the drain. It's like another economic loss, right? I mean, geez,
sometimes you got to take sort of smart, calculated risks, but that was not in my opinion. And they knew that would not have passed if I was in the approval chain.
And Loren, that's why I call it. Someone said, why do you use the term, say that Oakland's lazy? I said, because that's lazy. That's like, hey, we're not going to do anything. We'll just change some wording here and magic will happen. I mean,
no. Like, it's time to solve these problems in a way that improves lives of everyday Oaklanders. And that's what I expect. That's what I know is happening on the ground as I'm talking to those in the community, as I'm talking to folks. They're like, no, we see through these things that are happening. And I think it's in a new way that hasn't existed before. Like, before you might have a few fringe people who are actually into the details, know what's going on. Now we've got a lot more people that are awake, aware of what's happening and what's not happening. And I think you see that in the ballot box, right? The council that we have, they approved the flock cameras, the surveillance cameras. 2 years ago, that wouldn't have happened. Right. But because the citizens of Oakland are much more focused on, no, we have to address safety. We have to address these core things that are undermining our economy. Then you see that council members have, first of all, they don't have the wiggle room to get out of it. And then second of all, they've got more political cover because the residents of Oakland are more vocal, more out there, et cetera. And I think that's a good move. And we just need the rest of, I will say, we need leaders who are prioritizing those and not only doing it when they're forced to because of the political wins.
Do I hear that distinct, I want to campaign and run again in your voice all of a sudden?
The passion around improving our city has not gone away.
No, it hasn't. You see that. You're like, good now. We're both like, come on, let's get it done. Come on. Yeah.
That part is not.
So run again, man. What's up?
Hey, it's got to be right. It's got to be the right circumstance, and it also is a family decision because it takes a toll.
Yeah. It's got to be the
But
least.
again, there are many ways to have an impact, and right now I'm doing that from outside of City Hall through leading different organizations. And I didn't mention my consulting practice, which is a social impact, mission-driven consulting firm called Custom Tailored Solutions.
Tailored Solutions.
Yeah, tailored spelled the way that my last name is. Yeah. So
is that LL? Is that LLC? Is that .com or how do we say
it is a .com, customtailoredsolutions.com. And yes, it is an LLC as well, but I don't, yeah.
Let me put it up for you on here. Custom, did I forget how to spell custom? Custom
Tailored, TAYLORED.
TAYLORED Solutions.
Yep, .com.
.com. And wait a minute. This. Let me put the URL in here because I got something I didn't expect to get. You can check this. You can tell me if I missed.
Can I drop it in the chat here?
Yeah. Did I get it right though?
I'm looking.
Or put your version and I'll click on that.
There you go.
Okay. It's in the it's in this chat down here. Got it. Okay. Oh, thank you.
Too many chats to
got it. Yeah, I know, man. All right. So let me put this in and put in here and share screen. There it is. And go back here and then add it to the stage. Nice website. There it is, folks. Custom engineering discipline for social impact. Custom Tailored Solutions LLC. Where's your photograph of you, man? Where's you?
We've got an about section. The team.
Okay.
It's on there somewhere. Yeah, but yeah, that's the landing page, the homepage.
Okay.
But yeah, we're basically bringing that same systems change, transformation, innovation approach to mission-driven organizations to help them better deliver on their impact strategy.
So when you say engineering discipline for social impact, give me an example of your ideal client.
Hey, it's a range of clients, but look, bottom line is today's environment, if you are a mission-driven organization, the funding streams are changing, the technology that you can use or deploy is changing, and the way you do business has to change, right? This isn't just a tweak around the edges and maybe get another grant application here. So no, if we're going to serve people and actually change lives at scale, we've got to do it in a different way. And some organizations have to go on a maturity curve, growth curve in order to get there. Like moving in terms of your business discipline, in terms of the sophistication of your partnerships and network alliances, et cetera. So we can't just wing it. We can't simply say, hey, it's a great idea and now the money's going to come and, it's all going to, play out. We've got to systematize it the same way that an Amazon or whatever company does as they are optimizing their margins for shareholders or their profits. We've got to do that same thing to optimize the benefit to our clients, our customers, our stakeholders, our the community. And the more we can optimize how we do business, looking at really the process, the culture, the relationships, the revenue, the balancing, the finances, the better we're going to be able to deliver value to others.
This sounds in a way like something that happened years ago. It was an initiative to attract private investment to social programs. It happened during the advent of Web 2.0, and it got some traction nationwide, and then it fell out. Why it fell out, I don't know. I think a lot of it. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think a big thing is that it's kind of in how you framed it, right? It's getting private investment to come and invest in social programs, and you can do that if you've got a compelling use case or a flavor of the month or the year, like that is now incentivizing people to invest. But what we've got to do is change that mindset. So instead of, oh, we want the people who are making money over here to now bring their dollars over here, we build into their system. No, if you create a business model and a structure where you can do well financially while doing good in the community, it's more integrated into your operating model. It's more integrated into your business model. And I think that's where we've gone wrong in the past, is that we've looked at, it's you make money over here and you support people over here. And we've got to make that more mainline. Like, you can create viable businesses that at their core are helping people, or have a core part of their business that is around improving society and living into our values and investing in it.
This is so right now. When did this company just launch? Was it last year?
I've had the company since 2016. It was on the shelf when I was a council member, but yeah, so reactivated it after I was no longer in office, so that we could continue having that impact for both for-profit and nonprofit organizations that have a social good tied to what they do.
And so, do you also have a Facebook or what? How can we find?
Yeah, we're on social, customtailoredsolutions.com. We've got the website, we've got Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, all of the socials. And
yeah, check it out, folks. Custom Tailored Solutions. You can schedule a free consultation, or what's this free AI assessment? This looks interesting.
Click on that. So we basically have a tool that allows mission-driven organizations to answer a few questions about who they are, what they've done, how they've sort of started to adopt or incorporate AI, and then it gives an assessment of where they are on the AI technology adoption learning curve, and what might be next for them in the stages of development and optimizing, getting more value from this newer technology to better deliver on their mission. So that's one of the tools that we developed, and it's a self-service to give you some information. But then if you want to go deeper and explore more, we do the consultation and can be an advisor as you navigate growing in your AI maturity.
And it's free.
Yeah. Going through that self-assessment is free. It's a free service. I suggest you check it out from the Zennie 62 standpoint. Sure. See how you stack up or compare, and it has some best practices as well.
Okay, yeah. What we do, I think, we're Zennie 60 Media is a for-profit, and I think what we do. Well, it's not. I think what we do is it's a novel way of paying for news. Mm-hmm. You can't do it through ads anymore. That's dead. A number of people actually do get paid by others to put out news, but they don't say so. And they say, well, I'm a journalist and all this. Too many people, Loren, get tied up in calling themselves journalists.
We have a lot of biased journalism happening. Those that are covering Oakland and the East Bay, for sure.
I decided a long time ago, I said, you know what? I'm going to say if something is paid for. And I'm going to say who did it. And just let the chips fall where they may, because first of all, that's what's going on. It's been going on since, remember we did the whole thing with Bush and the weapons of mass destruction, and it turned out the media was actually helping Bush get out that fake narrative, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Put that out there years ago, all right? And I'm saying, you know what? The reality is that journalism has been helping the powerful for a long time, or where the least powerful had enough money to hire. That's been going on too. And we might as well just take off the clothes literally and put it out there. And so, well, I don't mean like that, but the whole point is that to say
there you go, transparency. You're focused on transparency. There you go. I got it. There you go.
But the reality is that everybody, and I look at it this way, a council member, everybody has a right to tell their story. And that's where you have your side, the other person has their side, and you debate. There is no one right answer. Fine. But let them get out what they want to say. But something else we also do is, and John Russo just gave us a great endorsement, verbal, because one of his kids was the target of a TRO by his baby mama. and it only lasted a month in 2023, but it was still up there when you type this person's name. So they didn't know what to do. John said, let's call Uncle Zennie. Fixed it in 4 days. But what we do is not just taking it down, because a lot of people say, well, take it down. All right. Mm-hmm. We also make the content to fill in the blank about information that's about that person. That's a big difference. Yeah. So we have
113. And that may be an opportunity for us to partner as well, right? Because you know, when it comes to some of my clients, as they're, you know, developing their web presence, their visibility, and everything else. I know you are like a whiz at SEO, search engine optimization, and like placement and everything else, and figuring out like if that's a need, you know, sort of pulling you in as a, you know, potential subject matter expert.
Something else on that note that we also do now, and Loren, this is how crazy everything is. Okay, let me just check this out. Okay, listen, I thought, because we have a client, I'm gonna leave his name out, but my client had a problem. Well, Kuldeep Chadar, why not? Kuldeep had a problem when he was falsely accused of H-1B visa selling them. He wasn't. He worked for Walmart at the time. Then he got terminated, but not for that reason. And long story short, I discovered there was a guy on Twitter that was just churning out stuff about him that was wrong. Okay. And Grok was repeating it. Grok is the AI. Yep, so I thought, I need to get to this. I need to get to Grok and make Grok say, you know, something in
true. Yeah.
And I did. And I thought, wait a minute, this is a business. So I typed in, get this, I typed in Google Gemini. What if Zennie 62 Media trained AI search bots for reputation management? And it spat back, while Zennie 62 Media does not actually have a formal program to train artificial intelligence search engine bots, it could easily do so because it has many different websites that can be used to train the bots. And I went, holy freaking shit. And it just wrote, literally, it wrote the business plan for me, dude. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I took that page and I put it on the site, and that's the enhanced part of what we do.
I mean, that's exactly the type of adaptability that we need right now in this evolving sort of economy. As you've got new technology, new solutions, new business models, everything else. The question is, how do you adapt what you're doing to expand and lean in and take advantage of your strengths, your existing assets, everything else, in order to serve the need that generates business, right? And so we've got to do a better job. I was just going to say, we need to do a better job. And this is going back to government and what the role of those who are supporting communities are, helping others navigate this new space and translate their existing skills, talents, assets, resources in a way that makes them successful in our new reality.
Yeah, because to show you how bad the situation is, Trevor Lawrence, who's a quarterback for the Jaguars, someone put up that his mother died. Okay, his mother had not died. They wrote it on Facebook. 2 AI search bots, one Meta, the other Google Gemini, both picked it up and reported it as if it was real. Okay, without a qualification. All right. So I made 2 videos to say Trevor Lawrence is not my client. Okay. I was just doing it because I just
correct the record. Yeah.
It's like to fix things. And then I got the bots to say, hey, look, this may not be what it is. You know, Oakland vloggers and Abraham without these 2 videos that say X. All right. And that's what people don't understand. It's like they used to joke with me about having all these Twitter accounts and everything. But I saw
Alan Michon
a long time ago. Oh, I gotta tell Alan. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Alan, I'm on live with Loren Taylor. I'll call you back.
You want to pull him in? If you're ready to go, you can pull him in and we do a handoff.
I would. Well, that's Alan. That's the other one. We're
okay.
Cool. Yeah, I had Bunny kind of up, but anyway.
Okay.
Alan's the owner of the Grand Lake. Folks, you have a chance. Go to the Grand Lake. They had a great host.
Oh.
Did you go to that event?
Got Alan. Yeah. No, I didn't make it to the event.
Oh man, I'm 3,000 miles away. I would love to. I would have flown to be there. Can I fly? No. Anyway, the whole point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But anyway, want to get back to you. And so, this is the election year. You realize that, right?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
We got primary and general.
Yeah. So how do you see this turning out?
You Oakland specific or more broadly?
Your choice. I don't want you to say anything that'll get you in trouble. So.
Hey, I mean, just to be blunt, like I think the big thing in Oakland is the education races, the school board. Right now, it doesn't look like if the incumbents in office on the city side, so mayor, the council members, others, continue to run for their reelection, it's going to be fairly, I will say, it's going to be expected that they will prevail. Most of them are new, right? Mayor Lee just got in. Charlene Wang just got in. You've got
Marina.
Well, she's not running. It's going to be 2, 4, and 6, right? So you've got Charlene Wang in 2, Janani Ramachandran in 4, and then Kevin Jenkins in 6. Right. So those aren't expected to be very competitive races. So not a lot of, I will say, uncertainty there as long as they decide to continue to run for the reelection. And then really, I think the school board's the big one, because school board presents an opportunity, especially given the bankruptcy, the fact that the school board right now, which is primarily loaded with OEA, so Teachers Association, sort of propped supported candidates that have kicked out Kyla. They've declined to make some of the difficult decisions that are necessary to keep the school district solvent. Like we're seeing that there's a high risk of them going back into fiscal receivership. There's a lot of things that are going on with the school district that make this a very pivotal year, especially considering that this election is going to determine control of the school board that is making these decisions and can either put us on the right track or continue to have the school district sort of spiraling.
What's your crystal ball tell you?
Crystal ball?
Yeah.
About that?
Yeah.
I think parents and others are, seeing the writing on the wall that we've got to have folks that are actually ready to make those hard decisions to improve educational outcomes for all students. Right now, I think the statistic is we have less than 20% of our kids across the board reading at grade level. That's ridiculous, right? We've got to do better when it comes to outcomes for our students. And that means you've got to have folks that are going to make those hard decisions, put investments in and concentrate it in a way that gets the best impact, and not just looking out for the adults that are a part of the system.
Yeah, well said. Well said. We got to have you back.
Oh, hey, glad to be here. I know there's a lot of ground we could potentially cover.
Yeah, there's time. Hey, boy, this is not nice and compact. We could have gone another hour if we wanted to, but I had Booney coming up literally in the bullpen. So
there you go.
You want to join us, or?
If you pull him in, I'm happy to say hello. Maybe to the first 5-10 minutes, if that makes sense. But then give you guys some individual time to wrap as well.
Yeah. So let me do this, because what I have to do is turn this off, and I have to go over to him, and I'll send you the link.
All good.
Right? Yeah. I'll do it that way. Okay.
Sounds good. I'll join for the first 10 if that works.
Yeah, cool. You got it. Absolutely. Yeah. Hey, folks, we're going to shift over to Mr. Booney. And I'd like to thank, I'm going to call him Councilmember anyway, Councilmember Loren Taylor. Hey, I got to ask you real quick, what do you think about the District 6 race?
Council?
Yeah.
I mean, Kevin's been interim mayor. He's been he's got a lot of, I will say, institutional support. I think I'm always a fan of incumbents being challenged and needing to demonstrate their continued commitment and alignment with the district and listening. And so I, for that reason, I would love to see some type of more engaging election. But Kevin's going to be a strong candidate to run against.
Hard to beat.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna switch over. That
Sounds
is everybody. Thank you for watching. Please share it around and join us when we talk about the athletics in Las Vegas in their ballpark. That ends this stream.
All right.
That was pretty awesome.